this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with...
Sean.
Chris.
Lee.
Still can't get used to this. You're not cracking jokes.
Face turn. Carry on.
Dan's on holiday. How's the new government going, South Africa?
Yeah. Well, same government, different.
Different leader.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan goes on holiday again, and another world leader is asked to resign. I am not saying it's...
Dan told us he has proof he wasn't in South Africa,
anything.
which makes me think he's had to gather proof that he wasn't in South Africa.
It's not something you normally have when you come back off holiday, is it? Proof that you weren't near some kind of
Proof that-
political drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan's also good with Photoshop. Not saying anything, just throwing it out there.
Yep.
And light arms.
No, he does a lot of training. He's actually kind of well built.
Very well built.
And we're back.
Indeed, we are.
Just want to start off with an apology for the last 2 weeks being late. Don't worry, Chris, that usually happens when I put the 25-second gap into...
That's fine. I'm
Was
just
it-
pointing at the screen.
yeah, pointing at the screen, but I knew what you were pointing about.
That's okay.
Yeah, I just need to trundle it on.
Sorry, people.
slightly.
Carry on.
So yeah, just want to apologise for the last 2 weeks being late for unforeseen circumstances. Work got in the way, and then trip to the Mercedes factory, and I came back with more than great memories because I got ill.
Ooh. Not that Mercedes made you ill.
It wasn't Mercedes that made me ill. It definitely wasn't anything to do with them.
No, it wasn't. It was just the fact that you went away.
I went
and then
away
came back.
and-
In fact, you've got the immune system of a dead bat, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Your
Yeah,
middle name is actually Sick Note.
If it was a bug, I didn't get it, so it wasn't anything particularly transferable.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. If it was if it was something I ate, I'm putting it down to large amounts of food.
It could have been that food because I like fucking cast iron when it comes to bugs and stuff like that.
But can we just say, what a nice interview with George Russell.
Yeah, it was really good. He was really nice.
What a nice guy.
Famine in that.
Family. That seemed to surprise him a little bit.
To be perfectly honest, when I found out, it surprised me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't know. He said he didn't know how to respond to it, and I think that was genuine.
Yeah,
It's
a
probably
shame-
not come up before.
No.
it's a shame actually because we had a good chat about it after we'd finished
Yeah,
recording
yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah. Cool, good stuff. But
Felix from Mercedes media team, he was genuinely
Yeah,
surprised
it
by
was,
that.
it was really funny actually because after it was all said and done, George turned around and said, "Can I see that family tree again?" So I gave it to him. He said, "Yeah." He said, "That's definitely
that
my,
works,
That's
yeah.
my granddad." And then Felix, his like PR guy, sort of cottoned on to what was
No,
going on.
head of media relations. Let's put it this way: they sent the bigwigs out for us. God knows why.
He sort of looked at it, he said, "Hang on a second. Are you related?" To which George looked at him holding a piece of paper going, "It would appear so, yes." But I said to him afterwards, so like, I said I wasn't even sure how to even bring it up without it being dead weird. I didn't want to turn the interview into an episode of Jeremy Kyle.
But we just want to give a massive thank you to all the team in Brackley
Yeah.
for looking after us. They above and beyond. I mean, getting a tour of the facility was
It was tremendous.
yeah, we did not expect that. And we can definitely say that Mercedes will not be pulling out of Formula One with a minute's notice, going by all the work that's going on there, all the people that are there, and the whole infrastructure.
Yes, fucking swing and a miss for EJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he got that one wrong, didn't he? But yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Eddie Jordan's stopped clock went backwards.
Also, slight bone to pick with the two of you.
Oh, God. Go on.
I think I do a good Toto impression.
I had to broach the subject lightly.
And what exactly is the difference between Toto Wolff and Arnold Schwarzenegger? They're the same person.
I don't know, because we've never seen Arnold Schwarzenegger's office. We have seen the outside of Toto's office.
You just saw his door.
We saw his door and we saw his desk. It didn't have dints in it, which was very surprising.
Good. Good. He must be happy with progress so far then.
Either that or they're capable of building him a very strong desk.
Yes.
Or they just replace it on a weekly basis.
Yes.
we made a joking comment about maybe one of us sitting behind his desk and getting a picture, but the jokey comment was brushed away quickly.
All right. It was that's not happening. Move along.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
So it's It's happening. It's real. There are new cars.
2018 is a thing in Formula One. now.
Yes.
It's exciting now, isn't
Yeah, but
it?
since last week, and I mean, we've had so much going on since last week. But there have been 3 reveals of new cars. One of which I'm not sure if it's a picture or a render. The Haas, is it
Render.
Render.
It's a very good render because it looks like a picture of a car.
I-
The Williams is quite clearly a render.
No, the Williams is a real car. It was just
No.
It was just projected onto the screen at the launch. They didn't have the car there. They just had a picture of it.
They have put pictures of the car out, though.
Yeah,
'Cause I-
pictures of the real car.
Because I think they did a similar thing to what. Obviously, you're not doing the stupid, like bit of glass on top of your phone thing that you're going to do for Renault tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Friday.
Tomorrow, Renault.
It'll be tomorrow or earlier by the
Yeah,
time people
like-
listen
By
to
the
this.
time people are listening to this, it will have already have happened.
Half of
Yeah.
the cars will be out by the time.
But I think
Yeah.
that projection you saw of the Williams thing, if you were there, was probably a hologram of the car because it was rotating, wasn't it? And it
It was a 2D.
Yeah,
sort
but
of.
when you it was 2D when you were looking at the
A
picture.
2D hologram is a picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But no. But when you're looking at
That's why I was trying to.
the picture.
Yeah.
When you look at the picture, it looks very much like when you take a picture of a 3D movie.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
Yeah, it did look a bit
fuzzy.
distorted,
So
didn't it?
I,
Do you reckon they had the specs?
I don't think they had that, but I think it might have been like a 3D projection sort of thing.
I don't know about whether they had the specs or not, but it would certainly appear, judging by the pictures that came out during the launch, that I think it was Rachel Brooks who was getting better pictures of what was going on there than the actual official Williams photographer.
No way.
Yeah,
Wow,
I think
okay.
he must have got there late because he seemed to be right at the back. Some of
Yeah.
the pictures
It,
were.
it was at the back, and
Zoom right in.
I don't think he brought his decent lens with him either.
So we've had
Rachel Brooks is there taking photos on a phone, which were as clear as day.
Haas, Red Bull, Williams. By the time people are listening to this, Sauber and Renault will have broken cover. Depending
Yes.
on when they listen to it, of course. Thursday is Mercedes, Ferrari,
Yes.
and Friday is McLaren.
Yes.
So, what do we think of what we've seen so far? I mean, the Haas. I think it's. I
think the Haas is nothing, is it?
The
really?
livery is nicer than last year's livery.
Yeah, I prefer
Less-
it to the grey.
less
That was-
grey.
Yeah.
But I noticed something from the front on shot. It does look awfully a lot like last year's Ferrari's nose.
Yeah, the airbox looks a bit different, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, the airbox. That's the one big difference I've noticed so far in the 2018 cars that we've seen, is that there's that all the teams have darkened the areas around the side pod air intakes and the barge boards that we've become so used to in like recent years of Formula One, sort of just to sort of direct the air into the side pods. They've become very secretive, and they
Seems to be
look.
a lot of
Everyone's
trickery
being
going.
clever with the
Yeah.
lighting
Yeah,
so far.
and the dark paint as
especially,
well.
You know, like Williams to
Yeah.
the point where they've essentially painted like half the car black halfway up, haven't
But
they?
Yeah.
it kind of looks cool.
It does look very cool.
Yeah, it makes the car look like it's sitting lower. Weirdly, I don't know how that works, but it looks like it's sitting a lot lower to the ground because they've just painted the bottom half black.
Yeah.
But clearly, it's not the shortest car on the grid because that'll probably cause some aerodynamic problems later on.
And legality problems.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Your car is too small.
Yeah, they don't have the plank; they've got a lolly stick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've got to admit the Halo. It doesn't look offensive.
No, the Haas barely visible, but it's because it's
Background.
It's black, and it was on a black background, so you can not really. It's not a real life situation to see it in, is there?
Yeah.
The only one we've seen in a real life situation is the Red Bull, which was launched today on Monday on podcast recording day.
Yeah, with the internet losing its shit.
Over the test livery, which is just for today.
No. The internet losing its shit over the fact that it was an hour later than everyone thought it was going to be.
Scandalous.
Although not as bad as all the Williams kickoff
Oh,
last
the
week.
Williams fans were fuming, weren't they?
What with?
With Williams.
Because there wasn't
no,
a time.
yeah, they didn't put out a time saying when it was going to be. They just put out the date, and then everyone was making up what time they thought it was going to
from
be.
about 11 o'clock in the morning, everyone with less than half a brain, shall we say, "Oh, I'm sick of this, Williams. I've been checking Twitter all day, and there's no pictures of the car. What are you doing to us? We're your loyal fans."
Imagine being a Haas fan. They didn't tell anyone it was coming. It was just, boom, there it is.
This is why I hate people.
I don't think these beings could actually count as people.
No, most of them are. Like, I do genuinely hate 90% of the human race. Probably more than 90%.
I don't think many of these were human. Subhuman race.
But even still,
Morlocks.
I saw one tweet that someone was that fuming at the weight they had decided by the end of the day they were now a McLaren fan.
Oh, fuck off.
Can't wait until 8 o'clock to look at a car. Now I like a different.
Oh,
you know,
I-
we've talked about this before, haven't we? Like
I hope
it's
he
not-
doesn't die. Fucking idiot.
there's not like this team rivalry sport thing like you get with football fans, is there? You know, it's just there's a lot more respect goes on in motorsport, and you know that follows through to Formula One as well. Ferrari fans are Ferrari fans. That's perhaps the most solid sort of set of loyal fans you'll get in Formula One. But then outside of that, anybody sort of just likes to see good racing usually.
In Formula One,
You
the
got your
fans aren't
favourite-
even loyal to the sport. All somebody needs to do is fucking sneeze the wrong way. So, well, I'm clearly never watching Formula One again.
I know all those
You
idiots.
don't go to a Grand Prix and you don't get the you're going home in an ambulance where your team has probably made the engine for it.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
catchy chant that is.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you don't really get that, do you? You know, you see people turning up with like McLaren caps and Red Bull tops and things that they're not that particularly
I mean,
bothered.
you do get the occasional full kit wank.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Force India tweeted a picture a couple of days ago of a guy who turned up for a factory tour at Force India in a Mercedes hoodie. They still let him in.
Well, they are powered by Mercedes, and one of their drivers is Mercedes.
Well, yeah. It wasn't Esteban Ocon. It was some other guy.
A cheap Williams shirt in TK Maxx over here, and I was so tempted to take it to the technology centre.
Take it to McLaren.
Yeah.
Talking of team visits and things that you shouldn't do, what did you say about a USB stick when we were stood in Mercedes?
Oh,
I was talking to the Felix about the when we went to McLaren.
yeah.
I mentioned that I might have turned around to one of the other journalists when we were there and said, like when we were at McLaren.
No. One of the journalists. You can't say other. That implies we are
Yeah,
journalists.
no, but there was other journalists there, so I was referred to other journalists as one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there's only one journalist on this show, and she didn't come to McLaren or
I did not.
Mercedes with us.
And yeah, I might have turned around to that said journalist and said, "Could you imagine the trouble I could cause here if I dropped a USB stick on the floor which said Ferrari 2018 on it?"
Did they laugh or were they like, oh no, look at this?
He
new-"
laughed nervously.
Yeah, crack that joke to Felix just after I'd saved the George Russell interview on a USB stick, which I then felt the need to show him and prove that it didn't say Ferrari 2018 anywhere on it. Look, it just says Kingston Memory.
So yeah, we've seen the cars.
And in the case of Red Bull, we've heard the car.
Yeah, it sounds okay.
He sounds angry.
They were going to make the cars louder, weren't they, for 2018?
By upping the revs.
Yeah,
It looks like they have.
but we've also seen a short video. I'm sure
I
everybody
just
has
want to
seen.
credit Ruben Hernandez with the Red Bull Renault engine in the Red Bull sounds angry, which I fully agree with.
Yeah, thanks, Ruben. But the McLaren startup. Has anyone seen the video?
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone's seen the video.
Yeah.
The Renault engineers showing McLaren how to start their engines in their new car.
And
Yeah.
everyone looks really happy and they're all getting along.
And there's one person with fingers in his ears. One. Nobody else is wearing any ear protection. That says to me that maybe they're not that much louder.
Or it was a carefully staged video and the
I-
sound was added afterwards.
I'm with
A
Sean.
a Formula One team staging videos.
Just a week after a video comes out showing how much difficulty they had getting the Honda engine in that car.
Fucking hell, first the Moonlanders, now McLaren. You can't trust anything.
I did notice a lot of the camera angles were the same.
Yeah.
And a lot of the shots seemed very
It was
similar
very
to-
reminiscent, but so much more successful.
Yeah. Yeah. So I quite like, of the three that we've seen so far, I quite like the aggressive look that we've seen in these cars. We've had a year, haven't we, of the new regulations since they made the cars wider and a bit
Lower rear wings. and
lower rear wings. And,
I mean, they said the one said part of the redesign for 2017 was the cars need to look more aggressive, and I think at one point they actually used the term look faster when they're standing still.
yeah, which the Red Bull does that brilliantly, especially in this sort of dark blue and black test livery or launch livery, whatever they've called it.
Yeah, well, there's that much rake on it. It looks like it's going downhill when it's standing still.
Absolutely,
There's
but I mean,
so
it looks,
many bits on the front wing as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like it's deliberately painted, darker colours to sort of so you can't see high detail of.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not
that's
quite the camouflage, but it's similar.
It's a throwback to the camouflage. I did notice it was very sort of digital square pixelated effects. I've kind of christened it digital camo.
Yeah, I think that's what they were sort of going for.
It's good
There's
for,
a lot
good
of
for
slimmer
hiding in a
nose.
YouTube video that's not loading properly.
Yeah, a slimmer nose on the Red Bull. I noticed. As I said, side pod air intakes. They all appear to be quite different. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Lee, for turning that around. The Halo, completely inoffensive.
Yeah.
Even on the video of the moving car where Danny Ricciardo pulls the Red Bull back into the pit garage, don't you feel sorry for all those idiots who said they were never going to watch Formula One because of the Halo?
And the ones that have been posting about it this week since the launch is, if you're never going to watch F1 again until they get rid of the Halo, good, we won't miss you, close the door on the way out.
Pretty much. But yeah, I mean, the floor pans look quite similar, and there's a little bit more floor towards the front of the side air, but this is on all of the cars that I've seen so far.
I mean, the floor on the Red Bull that they did the reveal on today, it's not the Mad Max one that they used last year, but I'm sure we'll see something
And what's
along
with
those.
that rear wing? Have they deliberately done that because it's got the Aston Martin logo on it?
I'm pretty sure that they've
Because that's a
raised
strange angle.
Yeah, they've raised it just so it's like, look at our new sponsor.
I'm not considering they took around the track. I don't think so, because I don't.
I think the rear wing was a little lower on the one that went out on the track to the one that was in the publicity photos. I think the photos that we got, it was highlighting the fact that it's got
an
a
Aston
massive
Martin.
Aston Martin logo on the back end.
I mean, it could just be a trick of the perspective, given how much rake's on the car as well.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean,
the
possibly
the
the
back
crank-
of the car being so high up in the air, it's going to
They
look like it's higher.
cranked it up more just so you'd see the Aston Martin logo. I like it. It looks. I know it's a daft thing to say, but it does look quick.
Yeah, the shark fins are gone as well. Well, I say they've gone. They're sort of
They're tapered, aren't
they're
they?
tapered.
sort of
They're like
cut down.
the cut down Mercedes version of the test car from last year.
Yeah.
When it wasn't quite.
When we thought that Mercedes weren't going to run with the shark fin when they when the first pictures of it leaked out.
Yeah, yeah. But the it all looks quite good, and it's actually getting me quite geared up for 2018 and Formula One coming back.
It's don't know about anyone else. It's getting me excited for Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah,
Why would it be getting you excited for Thursday?
we're going to see the Mercedes launch live at Silverstone, aren't we, Lee?
We are.
Road Trip 3.
Road Trip 3,
Revenge of the road trips.
Revenge of the Road Trip.
Yeah,
This time-
Road Trip 2 is Road Trip harder.
I thought Road Trip 2 was this time it's personal because we were treated like persons.
This time it's Road.
This time it's human.
But no, me and Lee are going to the Mercedes launch, and we get to see the Ferrari launch from the Silverstone Press Centre.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it's Road Trip 3. This time we're confused at how we're fucking there.
So hang on.
No,
hang on a
the
second.
Ferrari bit's 3.5.
So Mercedes are having a break during their launch day because it's a full day, isn't it?
It's a full day. It starts at 10:15, and the circuit's open till 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're having a break in the afternoon so that everyone can go to the press centre and watch the Ferrari launch on the screens in there.
And either cower or start laughing.
They must be confident if they're showing it. They must
Yeah.
think it's going to
Yeah.
be like, oh, look at the state of that one.
Yeah. Like, they haven't even done this.
It's obviously just so they're trying to keep media at their event, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean,
They don't want anybody disappearing to a pub to
Yeah.
go and watch the Ferrari launch, which, let's be honest, wouldn't be on in a pub.
No.
No.
I don't know, if 250 Formula One journalists descended on the pub and said, can we use your Wi-Fi? We'll buy lots of beer. We just want to watch the Ferrari launch. The pub will go, You're spending money. Come in.
No, mate, the bowls are on.
No, the bowls was 2 weeks ago. I think it'll be the curling.
Did you see yesterday that the Russian curling team's been bubbled for drugs?
Maldonium.
Fucking amazing. What do you need drugs for curling?
It's the fact that it's that drug. That's like a drug that gives you enhanced endurance
Yeah.
and cardio ability. Why were you not taking like Ritalin or Adderall?
Well, do you know what I like?
Hang on, it's quite cardio with the old brushes, though, isn't it? In front of the stones.
No, this was only in the mixed pairs event though.
Oh, I've no idea then.
There's not as much sweeping.
See, I like the idea that Russian athletes just come in gassed to the gills form. You know, that's just just what they are. It doesn't matter what they
It's
do.
something
what
in the
they're
water.
Doing. Yeah, it's just part of their training regiment is to get injected by several thousand chemicals just before they go for a run.
You want to see the Russian chess team? They can take down a herd of elephants.
You know when they called Danny Kvyat a rocket? There was some truth in that.
Should have seen him after his first coffee of the morning.
Pissing a luminous purple.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate he turned into the torpedo. Anyway, so you're going to the Mercedes launch.
We are going to go to the Mercedes launch. We are going to cover what of it we can on the day, probably on social media because it'll be easier.
Yeah.
Because we'll be both there armed with phones.
Yeah.
And expensive data plans because we'll be on roaming.
Yeah.
Although at some point on Wednesday, I'm going to go buy a UK SIM card and I'm going to use that.
That's probably a
I'm-
sensible plan.
I'm putting this out there. I reckon Silverstone's got reasonable Wi-Fi.
The media centre will have.
Yeah. Just the bits where we're not in the media centre, we won't be able to...
I do have Wi-Fi.
Anyway, we will be covering it as much as possible on social media. There'll be stuff going up on the website after the event. We'll have lots to talk about and hopefully some audio from press conferences and whoever we can harangue on next week's show.
Yeah.
Because we're both taking voice recorders. Remember that, Lee. Pack your voice recorder.
I'm looking forward to
Do my
that.
best.
You got to get hold of Toto, and then we can compare and contrast.
What happens if yours is better?
Then I'm in the job, and Toto's out.
Say that's Toto.
No,
No, we need a clip of you as Toto just to play to him.
if that happens, Lee can record it on his phone. Off pod, I'll record it on Lee's phone, and then just in case you happen to bump into him
I
alone
think
in a corridor.
It's a great idea. We meant to record a question for George, didn't we, in
Yeah.
Toto's voice? We
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah.
It all got a bit confusing last week. That's what happens when you break time.
We've been breaking time a fucking lot.
But we're not doing it this week because this is the show before we go to Mercedes, and then the one that we do next week will be the one that we come back and it'll have the Mercedes stuff in.
Yes.
So
So, we're no breaking time this week.
Basically, no.
Yes.
And we've already
Yes,
recorded
no.
the Patreon show just to point that out. I think I know where we are. So, what's next on the running order? We've done 1, we've done 7, now let's go back to 3.
Yes.
Thought we weren't breaking time.
Well, following the launch from their car and it being looking quite aggressive and probably the best looking Martini sponsored Williams in a long time, then we've got the driver lineup, which I've been very vocal about, saying what the hell are they doing with such an inexperienced driver lineup. Claire Williams and Paddy Lowe together have hit back saying there's not a paid driver lineup and that Sirotkin is going to surprise some people because of,
Yeah, the check's going to bounce.
yeah, because of his pace. But something that I spotted at the from pictures of the Williams launch event that not surprised me as such, but
The
just
two southern teenagers and the embarrassed uncle.
yeah, the old man who walked out with the with the two drivers. I was like, that's Robert Kubica.
Yeah.
Why was he there? And we know he's the test and development driver, but Paul di Resta wasn't there last year.
I can't remember, but I know some teams do, don't they? McLaren were always a big one for having their reserve driver. rolled
Yeah,
out as
but
well.
I've got a feeling that if Sirotkin turns out to be dumped, Kubica will find himself in that car by Spain.
Maybe.
Yeah, talking of reserve drivers coming out, what was it, 2 years ago? Ocon was there at the Renault launch, then he was also there at the Mercedes launch a
Yeah.
couple of days later, and then he turned up in a manner later on in that season.
I still
Yeah.
stand by that if Kubica was the preferred choice for that seat, in the first place, just because of the PR that would have gone around him. So if he was capable of driving it for the season to the standard they want him to, he'd be in the car already.
I think if Kubica gets in the car, it'll be about as much of gets a drive rather than 3 FP1 sessions that he's doing.
I think we're going to have
one of which you couldn't remember where it was.
Yeah, I think we're going to have another one of those Williams years where we spend all fucking year going, wonder how good that car is.
Like we did last year.
Yeah, and the year before.
Yeah.
And the year before. Possibly the year before.
All I'm saying is if we see Kubica in the car, I think it'll be about as much of a shock as a team like Wigan knocking Man City out the
He's got
FA
2
Cup.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
He's got 2 FP1s, hasn't he? Guaranteed.
no,
3.
3, is it?
3.
Abu Dhabi being the final one, which is, of course, was right at the arse end of the season. So
It could only remember which 2 he was doing.
So you'd argue that might be for evaluation for a drive for the year after.
you could argue
Yeah.
that. But it would be a bit of a stretch to put him in for the young driver test, wouldn't
I
it?
think he'd qualify for it, wouldn't he?
Yeah, because he hasn't had enough starts in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
It's technically it's not the young driver test; it's the rookie driver test.
Yeah.
And because he's not had 2 starts under these current rules,
Yeah.
he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Because the last time he drove was well before the hybrid era.
Yeah,
And it's-
2011 was it? I think.
Yeah.
It's-
And it's not like they're short on fucking young drivers anyway.
No, not at all. But my response
Yeah,
to
Oliver
Williams,
Turvey.
absolutely. But my response to Williams saying that they're not pay drivers is yes, they are.
I don't count Sirotkin as a pay driver. He's come in with sponsorship, but Fernando Alonso came in.
Oh
with
yeah, people come
sponsorship.
with sponsorship all the time, but
I'm still amazed that Santander sponsor Jenson Button.
they do.
He's
Yeah.
still a sponsor. That's crazy.
But I want Williams to prove me and the majority of people who've looked at Williams' driver lineup and said too inexperienced. This is the team who have always had quite a solid driver lineup. What are you doing? I want them to prove me wrong.
I'd love to know what Paddy Lowe thinks of this. When you consider the driver lineups he's come from, where he's been.
Well, he was at Williams when it was Mansell, Patrese,
Yeah.
and then Prost and Hill, and then Senna and Hill. So
Paddy Lowe's probably thinking, great, I've got an unlimited budget for next year's car.
Possibly, yeah.
he was Alonso and Hamilton era at McLaren.
But it doesn't matter how good the car you build is if the fucking team hemorrhages points because of the pedalers they put in. It can be the best fucking car in the world, but you stick Stroll and Maldonado in it, and you are not coming home with a win.
We will never know
You're not
how
coming home
good
with a
that.
front wing, probably, if you put Maldonado in it.
We will never know how good that Pacific Ford was from 1995 because of
I
Giovanni
have a
Lavaggi.
vague idea.
Well, Giovanni Lavaggi was driving.
And I think the driving ability was matched
A
with
vague
the
idea.
ability of the car.
Can you be more specific?
Yes,
Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Stevens.
brilliant.
I'm here every week.
For now. Yeah, when do you go on holiday again?
I can't remember.
See? Yeah,
What's your name? Robert Kubica.
me and Sean were joking earlier about
No. Lead waves with both hands.
Yes.
yeah, me and Sean were joking earlier about
Visual jokes on audio podcasts.
it's all right, we provide subtitles.
That's all right.
Yeah, we were joking about changing recording location when Lee's on holiday. To which the obvious question came up: when? So, don't know. Should you ask Lee? Probably not.
So we should ask Laura then.
Yeah, check
Yeah.
with Laura. Yeah,
Or the cats. One of the two.
yeah. Ask one of the grown-ups in the house. You got 3 others to choose from.
Yeah. Just leave me and the fish alone.
Possibly older than you in fish years.
Possibly. He's an old fish. What have we got?
What we got? Yeah, so the Williams driver lineup.
Well, what do you think about it?
It's weak.
It's weak on paper. We don't know what it's like on track.
I've got
but-
a feeling it's going to be weak on track as well.
Yeah, but neither do Williams. Williams haven't had enough time to evaluate their drivers.
Which is the least Williams thing ever taking Williams as a whole.
Yeah.
But it's the most Williams thing ever for
New Williams.
the current
Yeah,
Williams
yeah.
regime.
Even go back a few years, they had Barrichello in the car.
Yeah.
All right, okay, Barrichello, brilliant number 2 at Ferrari, and then supported Jenson Button in his winning year at
But he
Brawn.
was, but where Williams were at the time, he was ideal.
Yeah, absolutely. Where if something was going to go wrong, Barrichello would be there to pick up the points.
When you try with limited testing and they're trying to develop the car,
Barrichello's who you wanted in the
Yeah.
car.
To be honest, I think that's the same with Massa as well. Experienced gives good feedback.
yeah.
But a little bit too whiny.
Yeah.
Is DeRista still part of Williams?
He
Don't think
hopes
so.
he is.
He hopes
says
to be,
he
but
wants to be.
he's actually DeResta's actually been confirmed for more IMSA races with United Autosports.
Is he doing the rest of them?
Hey. No, he's doing.
When are you going on holiday?
I believe he's doing Sebring, Watkins Glen, and another one.
I think they're the only two that have been definitely confirmed because he's fitting it in around DTM because he's driving in DTM for Mercedes.
Ah, right. Okay, so
So, I mean, Mercedes have got an experienced lineup in DTM.
Pascal Wehrlein, Paul de Resta.
Yeah. And you
Some
can
of
you can
it.
say Verline's experienced in DTM because, well, he's won it.
I can't help but feel now. I know. I did. Like, this is probably going to make people that listen to the podcast shout because of what I've said over the last fucking year. But I can't help but think now, looking at Williams' lineup sat there, that Verlaine was the best choice for them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, at least they had an idea of what was going to go down.
Yeah, I mean, this to me is the weakest Williams lineup on paper since Maldonado and Senna.
No, I don't think so because I think Maldonado was better than both of those. Oh, he's certainly
Well-
better than.
He won a
Stroll.
race.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
In
since
that Williams.
yeah, but Maldonado, everyone thought, what the hell are they doing signing him at the start of the season? Okay, it turned out he could actually get the car further up the grid. And, I mean, he's still the last person to win for a Williams. But just before the start of that season, it was, oh, God, what are they playing at?
Bruno Senna, decent driver, but unfortunately will
Too late.
Yeah, too late, and will never live up to the name that was
Yeah,
that he holds. But
it doesn't help that how much he looks like him as well.
no, but when you consider as well, he was asked by his family to stop racing for 10 years.
Yeah, thanks for that,
Af-
fam.
After Ayrton's death,
Yeah.
he did not. He was racing in karts, but he didn't go back to karts until 2004, and then he was fast tracked through the single seater series to get to Formula One.
Yeah,
So,
to sell some of them sweet hats.
but again, brilliant,
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
brilliant driver, but not great. If you know what I mean.
I think the problem is he's one of those ones we'll never know, will we? Now.
No, I think it was Pete Windsor who said it was talking about Pete Windsor, wasn't it? Who spent time at HRT?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Pete Windsor was at HRT with when Bruno Senna was driving for them.
Yeah, because he was going to start US Grand Prix and then that collapsed and HRT took him on.
Yeah, and then he said Bruno was the only driver who pushed that car to the point where we knew what was going on. So the other drivers didn't push it hard enough because they didn't feel like they could, which is fine because we were underdeveloped.
Yeah.
But Bruno pushed that car and he had a couple of accidents. And after a couple of accidents, I took him to one side, put an arm around him, and said, "You're the only one pushing that car to its limit. Said you will only find your limit by going past it."
Yeah.
So
Pushing the car to the limit.
Sorry, my headphones are working in stereo again.
Oh, nice. Brilliant. Pushing the car to the limit, 55 seconds off last.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
No, I just get the feeling this is going to be one of Williams' greatest mistakes. Nakajima, anyone?
But I think the problem as well. No, I think it's a bigger mistake than Nakajima.
Bloody hell.
I think Stroll's a bigger mistake than Nakajima.
I think for me, the biggest question mark with Sorokin is how long he was at Renault and didn't get that seat off from
Don't
Julian
forget,
Palmer.
he was at Sauber before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with Stroll looking into that podium, you see, where the basically the grid crashed, has muddied the water.
Stroll,
Do you know
Stroll
what I
is
mean?
fast on certain types of circuit, and Baku is the kind of circuit where he's quick, where it's turn the car, point and squirt, turn the car, point and squirt. Technical circuits, he doesn't seem to fare very well on, but he is still inexperienced.
Yeah, but did he do well there, or did he just happen to land there once all the stuff?
No,
was
but he
done?
did well in.
Massa should have won the race. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
Massa was actually his pace was better than Danny Rick's.
Yeah.
We all know Danny Rick ended up winning that race.
So if Massa could have won the race, then realistically, Stroll should have been on the podium. If Massa could have won the race, he should have, his pace should have been close to his.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm very confused by Williams. The very fact that they feel like they've had to hit back and
Did
say,
anyone else? Sorry to butt in again. Did anyone
No,
else
you're
think that Claire Williams seemed sheepish when she was talking about it?
yeah, but this is what I'm about to say. I think the only reason, the fact that they feel like they've got to hit back and say our driver lineup is strong. These people are this
because it's
lineup's
not.
gonna lineup's gonna surprise you. Well, hang on a second.
Right now,
you
Patrick
wouldn't have-
Head is looking like the red guy from Inside Out.
I don't know what's Inside Out.
You wouldn't have to say that, would you, if it was a problem?
Inside
If
Out.
it wasn't a problem, you wouldn't have to defend it. Paul's gonna have to do some.
I'm
Googling
going
now.
to have to show you
It's a Pixar film
where it's.
where it's all the different
I don't-
emotions
I
inside the
I
girl's
generally
head.
don't watch Pixar films because I'm a fucking grown up.
You've got a child, Lee.
What? Yeah.
That's the red guy.
No. Yeah. No.
But that's what Patrick Head looks like right this minute.
Is it
Fuming.
Fuming.
right?
But yeah,
What have they done to my team?
yeah. I think the fact that Williams have had to put that statement out just echoes everybody else's sentiment that it's probably not that strong.
It isn't.
It's an old government thing, isn't it? Like Theresa May, strong and stable. We're
Yeah.
strong and stable. No, you're not.
Yeah,
If you keep saying
fall
it
apart the
enough,
seams.
if you keep saying it enough, people will believe it. No, they won't.
No.
No, I don't think that's the case.
It's a shame
They
as well.
It's like they're trying to convince themselves. Is the point I'm trying to make?
Yeah. Yeah,
I-
no,
I-
that's hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I've got a funny feeling like this being Paddy Lowe's first Williams, and just like the quick look at the car we've had, I've got a feeling that it's not a bad car.
We'll see. I mean, I really hope that Williams can prove me and the hordes of others wrong. But it's because I really believe that third, possibly fourth, is attainable for all of the other teams,
Yeah.
Including Williams.
Yeah.
I think probably Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, and then we don't know what's going to happen behind them
Yeah.
at the moment.
Well, this is the thing. Like I said, McLaren are there now. McLaren, all things being equal, McLaren should be ahead of Williams because and they should have been ahead of Williams if it wasn't for Honda as well. It's they were artificially fucking crippled. So, like I said, when Williams was second in the championship, it was because other teams had fucked up, and slowly they're slipping back to their rightful place of 8th.
Yeah, which was very well where they could end up this year. It's a very big sliding scale. Any team could finish third or fourth.
Dangerous. Like I can see Williams becoming Tyrrelled.
Yeah,
I don't want to see it. I want Williams on the grid, and I want them to win races. And
they won world championships,
Yeah.
but I mean, didn't stop Brabham from slipping out of Formula One.
Yeah.
Lotus.
Tyrrell again.
Lotus probably the biggest name that's vanished off the grid. The Lotus that was around 3 or 4 years ago is
Ni-
not the Lotus that.
Neither of the recent Lotuses.
No.
Lotai.
Yeah, none of the recent Lotus teams
That doesn't count.
were Lotus at all. But the original Lotus team that folded when early 90s, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the most successful team of the early Formula One era, the 60s. So
Yeah.
But, things change. Watch out, Ferrari fans. It could happen to you.
Well, I mean, Williams might
they pull out the sport first.
Oh, God. Ferrari to pull out. It must be Monday again. I've killed you.
Oh.
I killed that one, haven't I?
a little bit.
Yeah, go on. Then you were saying.
We were talking just before we went on air about the air on air.
On air?
Yeah. Well, what do you say? What would be the
Before we
word for
start
podcast?
recording?
Before we started recording?
Recording? Yeah, I suppose so.
Pre-podding?
You can still get pregnant from that.
Why do you think
It's a myth.
Why do you think I put these little things over the tops of the microphones?
We were
Stop
talk-
you from getting sick.
That didn't work.
Oh, what did I say the other week here about as healthy as my granddad, and he's been dead for 30 years. We were
You
talking
eat
about Force
one
India.
cow that doesn't agree with you.
To be fair, I doubt the cow ever agrees at being eaten.
I'm really sad today. Just finish
Just eat
it.
me.
Lee, you've seen Hitchhiker?
Yes.
Lee, you said something about Force India.
Force India. Like their car launch has been put back, or not put back, but it's going to be. At
They
the
haven't announced
test.
when it's going to be.
No, possible team name
it seems to be an
change.
open secret that it's going to be at Barcelona next
Oh, all
Monday.
the Force India fans will hate that.
Well, no, don't forget that Force India launched at the track last year, and it was silver and black.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, in between testing and Australia, they were like, "We're gonna be pink."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was silver, black, beige, lumpy, and slow looking. And
I was actually all right.
and then it wasn't
Yeah,
any of the above.
no, it was heavy for the first few races, and then they sorted that out.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing to bear in mind is Force India have also tested a previous season's car 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Didn't
Which you're
you
now not allowed to do. Is that right?
I don't know. They got special dispensation for it before, and they might
I think
again.
all the teams have to agree, don't they? I'm sure there's something like that.
I think it's one of those where if one team says no, sorry.
Ferrari.
Yeah.
But I wonder whether this is half to do with whatever the what you call it. I feel like I've got a kettle in my fucking ear.
Sorry, listeners, we've gone a bit tangenty tonight. It's not like us at all.
I fucking completely lost that then. I was just listening to you fucking vape away.
You're talking about Force India and about you wonder if
I wonder if instead of having the name change that's put back the car into testing,
yeah.
for them to finish where they were, I can still hear it. For them to finish where they were,
Note to self: mute button on the mixer doesn't work.
It was quieter, but I think that the rest of the mics were still picking it up.
for them to finish where they did last year, yeah,
Fourth.
and the way they developed through and their car stayed like competitive,
Yeah.
for the whole year. Given their budget, that's almost like a team fighting for a championship until the last race.
Given their budget, that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive. Then their next step has to be
Yeah, but remember what pushing that hard did to McLaren and Ferrari in 2008.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, you think maybe with a smaller budget they're going to fall behind a little bit.
It all depends on what the budget is, because if they get this new title sponsor with a new injection of cash,
That won't hit them this year, though. It's too late now.
And it certainly would have helped the development of the car up to this
no,
point.
but if they come in if they come in before the start of the season, they can develop the car more during the season.
Yeah, no, but what I mean is what they're going to turn up with. They might be already behind on the car because of how much they were pushing last year.
It'll help them that there isn't too much of a difference regulation-wise.
Yeah, but well, I'd have thought that as well. But the cars we've seen look pretty fucking different, don't they?
This is true.
They look
Start to look aggressive again.
They look so much. They look much more different than what I thought they were going to. I thought we were just going to get
2017
2017
Yeah.
Mark II,
with different paint on it.
Yeah, and it's not that at all. They're much sleeker. They've clearly found a way to cut weight from the cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they look good. The cars look good.
Yeah, they do. It's
I think the Halo's the best looking thing that's ever been on a Formula One car.
I think it looks all right on the Red Bull.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you, but the thing about
You're looking at me because you know I'm the one that gets all the tweets.
the thing about Force India.
So if you have an opinion on the Halo, send it to @ATotalShunt.
Fucking do it. If I can.
The thing with Force India is we know what they're like driver wise. Ocon and Perez, they've crashed into each other a few times over the last year.
But they've both since spent time on the naughty step, and apparently it'll never happen again.
Of course it won't.
Until this year.
Ocon will
Lap
not
one-
care about that because he has all intentions of ocking off for the,
Yeah,
at the end
lap,
of this year.
lap 1,
Yeah.
turn 3, Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quite possibly, yeah.
probably lap 1, turn 1.
Um,
Is this a new game?
Might be. Might
Who-
be.
when are Force India going to crash into each other? We need something catchy.
Forced off to you.
But they've got
Hopefully the new team name might lend itself.
Yeah.
they're gonna launch on Monday regardless. Like Toro Rosso are launching in Barcelona on Monday as well. So who knows where Force India are going to go? If they've been waiting for this to happen, this cash injection title sponsor thing that they've been promised, and it doesn't come through in time for the new season, they're going to find themselves in a bit of trouble. They could also find themselves in a bit of trouble if. I think it's Toto Wolff has said this week that he considers all Renault-powered cars to be title contenders this year. So that includes Renault, McLaren, and of course the Tag Heuer-powered Red
Is that
Bull.
just smack talk towards
That
Ferrari?
sounds like shit stirring, yeah.
Yeah, it could be trash talk to Ferrari. We don't expect Ferrari to be anywhere near when quite clearly.
Mind you, the helmet has said he doesn't expect Red Bull to be title contenders.
It's all just posturing at this
Oh,
point,
war,
though,
innit?
isn't it?
Yeah.
Like when Lewis Hamilton said Max Verstappen's his main title rival for this year, that was just to piss Vettel off.
And Bottas, apparently.
And probably Bottas. I doubt he was
annoyed
pleased.
Bottas has now turned around and went, well, you know what? I think I can take Lewis this year.
Yeah, it upset Bottas even more when he got called Rubens.
He did actually get called Nico last season. Don't forget that.
That's what you do, wouldn't you?
No, it
No.
happened.
If you were Lewis Hamilton, you wanted to get inside Bottas' head. Right, Massa. How's it going, mate?
You turned this into the Raw before WrestleMania.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I like that.
It's up there, Irvine.
Dear God, what have we got next? Billy Munger.
Yes.
Yes, not F1, but working his way up.
He deserves a huge round of applause for absolutely. Billy Munger back in a racing car, specially modified Formula 3 Carlin car, and could be racing in Formula 3 this year. Could be racing in Formula 3 this year because he's driving a specially modified car. There are a few rules. Is that actually some people are questioning? Oh, hang on a second.
How's he get out?
No. Out in an emergency situation, and also the weight thing, because he's.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that.
They may have to ballast the car. But it's being talked about, and Billy Munger, if it all gets sorted and all gets clear, Billy Munger may find himself in a Carlin Formula 3 car for British Formula 3. Less than a year after he lost both his legs at that accident at Donington.
I tell you what, you would have to pull it up because it's competition.
Yeah.
You'd feel awful doing it, wouldn't
You'd
you?
hate to be named as the
Yeah.
team that blocked
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Balls of steel.
absolutely.
Is that how you would ballast the car?
Yeah, probably.
No, you'd use, what was it? Densium.
Densenite.
Densenite, that was it. No, another one from, one that we can say from Mercedes. They took us to this sort of display stand with parts that were made out of various materials, and there were these cubes of metals. There was what was it? Aluminium,
Titanium,
and then this cube of densenite,
magnesium.
Yeah.
Magnesium and densenite.
and the densenite, it did what it said on the tin. It was about a 2-inch cube.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing was, like, if you imagine when you get the children's games, and they have the big comedy dice.
Yeah.
It was about the same size as a comedy dice.
Yeah.
And I expected it to be really light because I thought that's the way it was going.
Which the titanium one was.
Yeah. And he dropped it in my hand and like, was your fucking hell.
Your hand dropped about 2 inches.
And I put it back on the shelf, sort of holding it down. No, but downwards with like my thumb and 2 fingers.
Yep.
And I could feel it all the way down my forearm and in my bicep, putting it down. Right, and to be a humble brag, I'm massively strong.
Yeah.
You can lift a paintbrush and everything.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
Absolutely.
2 paintbrushes sometimes, one in each hand.
Careful. Too much.
Need a
too
special license for that, don't you?
much. But yeah, getting back on track. I really hope this comes off for Billy Munger because it's clearly his dream. We saw him doing some stunt driving recently in a Mercedes on a track, but he's to do what he's done after the kind of accident he's had, and use a specially adapted car. Well, they said he'd probably never drive again, let alone race again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
to do this.
Yeah.
If anyone's in contact with him, can you try and get him on the show for us, please?
Yeah, it'd be great.
inspiration.
We'd
yeah.
love to have him as a guest.
Yeah, if anybody has got any contact for Billy Munger, we'd love you guys to be able to hear Billy Munger on this show. That would be fantastic.
It would.
And quite humbling, actually. I would be quite humbled if Billy Munger was on this show.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Because, yeah, I'm not sure I could ever do anything to
Remotely similar.
to the scale, the bravery of the scale that he's gone to. You know, it's mind blowing.
Yeah. If somebody wants to bring him over for TT as well.
It is crazy. Like off subject, really. Well, not off subject, but off Formula One. My uncle had a parachute accident, and he broke his spine in 3 places.
Yeah.
And not only
Is this on the George Russell side of the family or the other one?
the other one,
Right.
and not only was the did he sort of he obviously didn't walk again. He's in a wheelchair.
He's paraplegic, or is that what it's called? From a certain point?
Yeah. He wasn't happy with just sort of getting himself up and going again. He then developed his own wheelchair so it would collapse under him while he was parachuting again. So he could jump out of the plane in his parachute.
Oh, wow.
In his chair, and when his chair hit the ground, it would fold under him.
That's pretty cool.
I once ate a 16-inch pizza.
Did you use cutlery?
No, I didn't. No.
Good.
Yeah, I don't even think I had a napkin. I'm fucking #brave.
No. Hashtag be brave.
Hashtag-
What is that about McLaren? Come on. Be brave.
What, are they not confident?
Well, judging by their social media presence, no.
They put a video on today where it looked like the car was attacking them in the middle of the night or something
Yeah,
like that. It
I
was
saw
quite
that.
sinister. It looked like it
Yeah.
had hacked into the CCTV. and
Everything is. I don't
are
know,
they scared of their own car?
everything's orange again. Do you know what I'm going to call it now? Because by the time next week's pod comes out, we'll know exactly what the
Fucking
McLaren
white,
looks like.
innit?
Orange and white. Yeah, it's orange. You know how the last year's one's orange and black.
Yeah.
This year's one is orange and
And
white.
it's all orange. I
Groundbreaking.
think it's going to look more like the Indy car.
I think it's going to look, sort of similar to somewhere between the Indy car and the old red and white McLaren.
Yeah, no, but I think they
Whisper
just,
it, though,
I think
because-
they're going to ditch it and just have an orange car.
Yeah.
There were the two orange cars that were in the foyer, the technology centre when we were there the other week. They do feature quite heavily
Yeah.
in that video that McLaren put out today with them moving.
Yeah. So we'll see. The funny thing is that Be Brave thing is fucking stupid, though, isn't it? 'Cause,
What is
like,
brave about orange? Is
Well-
it a brave colour?
It's sort
Is
of-
it brave going with Renault? Is that what they're trying to say?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, to be
Be
honest,
brave. Ditch your crap engine manufacturer after 3 horrible years.
But it was dead easy, though, surely. It's like marketing McLaren this year, it was dead easy. Last year, it was #believe in McLaren. Yeah?
Yeah.
All it needed to be was #keep believing. That's all this year needed to be. And that is instantly
Or
better than Be Brave.
Hashtag don't stop believing.
Please stay, Fernando.
if it's hashtag don't stop believing, then are we all on a journey with...
Yeah. That's where I was going with that.
Glad it wasn't just me. Pick up the guitar.
Was it that time? I'm not playing Don't Stop Believing.
You can play something else in today.
I do
Oh,
like,
I
I do
know,
like the way that next year it could have been #hold on to that feeling.
Right, it's the weekly Chris tries not to throttle himself with his headphone cable whilst picking
managed
the
it.
guitar.
managed it.
That's a first.
Smooth.
Yeah. Ish. It's getting more and more out of tune, isn't it, every week? I refuse to tune it, but it's getting more and more out of tune.
I'm gonna.
Have you got your total shunt loaded, by the way?
It's all right. Carry on. I've got
Oh,
that.
okay.
I know where we're going.
Cool. Total shunt. Total shunt. Everybody, he's a total shunt. Gives us clues, can we work it out? Probably not. We get it wrong all the time. Look out. Here comes a total shunt.
Hashtag be brave. Who sent this week's in?
This week's was by Jeff LeBond. Is it LeBond? Leobold.
Leopold.
Leopold.
Yes. How,
Jeff Leobold.
Change the name to LeBond. It's a better surname. I was born
Yes, the correct way, Jeff. Well done.
In 1940. I'm not giving you the rest of that because that's technically 2 clues, Jeff. I'm not into that.
Ooh, Daily Mail cluing.
I was born in 1940. So during the war.
I remember.
During the war.
2 years older than me mum. Sorry, mum.
Right,
I began my racing career at age 13.
1953.
1953.
Yeah, we can do maths.
Yeah.
I won my first race in 1959.
Age 19, I would have thought,
you
or
would have thought so,
possibly
yes.
18. So, somebody who's 78, or 78 this year.
Okay.
Sterling Moss is in his 80s, isn't he?
He is,
Yes.
I believe.
Again, Jeff, I'm going to point out that question, that hint number 3 wasn't a hint, it was a fucking book.
It's almost like you haven't proofread this one.
Just shorten it down a bit, Lee. Trim it down.
Well, give me a fucking suggestion.
Oh, yeah, we
lads.
need a...
Um,
Who would be 78? You stand by Mario Andretti, he's about that old.
He's not that old, is he, Mario Andretti?
I didn't think he was quite that old, but I could be wrong.
There is a 160,000 of them.
One of them must be that age.
if you say Andretti, you're in with a good shout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Thunderbirds. Only Andretti Island isn't so much like a secret organisation; it's just a country.
It's actually Australia. Tasmania is where all the Australians live. The rest has been taken over by Andretti's.
Talking of which, Jack Brabham.
Interesting.
What was it? There was a Brabham thing today put out, wasn't there? Like a Brabham logo.
For a Formula One team?
No, not for. I don't know if it's from one team, but there was a new company logo put out.
I don't know. We're not allowed to look at the internet. We're in the middle of total shunt. I'll check that in a second. And tell you what, why don't say things like that before we do the running order?
That's a good. I only just remembered because you said Brabham.
Must have been a good logo.
Jessica, should we go Jack Brabham?
I reckon we'll go
Yeah.
Jack Brabham.
Jack Brabham, then. First clue.
Who was allowed to live in Australia before the Andrettis moved in.
Yeah.
I have raced champ cars.
So it's an American.
Probably.
Champ car was old IndyCar.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a left turner.
Again, generally, hints don't have like 2 or 3 years in them and a finishing position. That's easily 3 hints in that one.
Maybe he was being generous to us.
Yeah, perhaps. But, Lee's game, Lee's rules.
Don't hate the game, hate the player.
This next number 6 could once again be considered 2 hints.
Right, so he now has the new name Jeff 2 Hints Leopold.
Yeah, so basically, we're at question 6, and you've already had, or if I wanted to, the whole quota plus 2. I have won the Daytona 500.
All righty then.
Really good at turning left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it was boring last night.
There's a couple of good crashes.
That was about the only bit. It was, and even Americans were saying there was too many adverts.
Yeah, it was like every 3
Wow,
minutes, wasn't it?
when Americans notice adverts being too often, that's something.
There was
I'm
one bit.
interjecting total shump with the news that the ESPN's taken on all the Sky coverage.
Oh, we did say we'd
yeah.
talk about that,
Yeah,
so
which
we'll do that.
might
We'll
do
do
that in a
that
bit
after
then.
Total Shunt.
There you go.
But yeah,
I'll
there was
tell you
one
what-
bit they announced they were going to do a premiere for an advert.
Just
Ooh.
after they came back from an
Yes.
ad break. But the problem was we were
Hashtag be brave.
we were getting the world feed, which didn't carry the adverts. It just stopped the commentary. So every 3 laps, we had 3 more laps in absolute silence. And then the commentators had come back and tell us they were going to an ad break or premiering an advert, and then it'd go quiet for another 3 laps.
Remember when we said like America does sport right? We were well wrong. Like we were properly wrong.
I
It
don't
does
think
some
we could have
sport
been
right, and it does some sport really not right.
Unfortunately, it seems to be motor racing doesn't do right.
But like I said, there was a lot of Americans on Twitter going, You are really taking the piss with this many adverts.
Well, it's the same with Formula One, isn't it?
No. This was worse than the adverts in Formula One.
Fellows, I must interject. We were in the middle of something.
Oh yeah, yeah, we were. Sorry,
We were.
I have driven an F1. Oh no, you know we've driven an F1. Sorry, I'm just.
no, we didn't.
No,
we
I
didn't.
did not know that.
No,
Oh, did we not?
No,
Right,
you're
okay,
driven
cool.
in Champ Car, won the Daytona 500, and now we found
Now
you've
you're in
driven
F1.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just picking the clue out of, like, I don't know, paragraph 3 of this one.
I think if it's.
Do you remember talking about Phil Hill a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
We did talk about Phil Hill.
Actually, the fact I'm shortening these, I think I'm making it mindlessly confusing.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think Phil Hill might be a shame because he raced everything.
That is true. I think it's gonna be American rather than anything
I
else.
want
Yeah.
to say
Well, Phil Hill was American.
I want to say he
was.
was a little bit older than 78 when he died.
He'd be 78 now.
No, I want to say he was older
And he
when
was
he
older
died.
than 78 when he died.
Yes, that's what
Right.
I mean. Yeah.
I still want to go for Mario Andretti.
Okay. More.
Do I need an answer off you?
Yeah, we just had Mario Andretti.
You're going with that.
We're going with Mario Andretti for guess 2.
Earlier, I said I had won the Daytona 500.
That was a lie.
Oh,
Oh, good
No,
lord!
everyone missed it because they were showing commercials.
I've just destroyed the pod room. I do apologise.
I have also won the Indianapolis 500.
Indy 500, Daytona 500, Formula One driver.
Right, now, there's something about an Andretti curse with the Indy 500. The Andrettis keep not winning it.
What about Graham Hill?
I was just about to say, how old would Graham Hill be?
Damon's in his 50s, isn't he?
He's around about there.
Yeah.
Because there's
I
not.
don't know that Graham did more American sports, though.
Don't forget, there only used to be about 10 Formula One races a season.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you had time to go
so
and
the
do
drivers
weird
had just,
stuff.
and the Indy 500 used to be part of the F1 championship, and you'd just spend more time in America doing various races.
Yeah.
And the Daytona 500's always been, I think it's always been around about this time of year in the F1 season. You used to
F1
start-
off season, yeah.
Yeah, you used to start a lot later.
It's a potential.
Yeah, I think Graham Hill could be a good call. I may be wrong with the American. Next clue?
My last win came at the Dutch Grand Prix in the year I won the Formula One World Championship.
He won 2 world championships, Graham Hill. We're back on the hills. Graham Hill, Phil Hill, not related. The year I won the Formula One World Championship would be Phil Hill, as he only won 1. Graham Hill won 2 in 62 and 68.
I am paraphrasing this question. Don't read in the the's and the things to mean that championship.
So
may have been part of more one.
the words that he is saying aren't necessarily the words
that Jeff has written
Yeah.
down.
So
Sorry, Jeff.
Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they're not necessarily the word that Jeff's written down.
'Cause
Because
it's
if they
another-
were, we would still be on question fucking 1. 4 score and 4 questions ago.
Oh, dear.
Jesus, what?
I'm sorry, Jeff. Thank you for saying on it.
And coming up next on Alienate the Listeners.
Tweeting
Right.
pictures of my balls.
No, don't do that. Next clue.
I don't think I want to know what the next clue is. He's making them up himself.
You're gonna hate me. I think this is
What's all this going to?
you're gonna hate me more. I have won the Le Mans 24-hour.
Right.
Triple Crown.
There are.
Graham Hill. Did Phil Hill win it? I'm not sure.
Don't think so.
No. Phil Hill definitely won Le Mans 24. There are only something like 4.
Sorry,
Four world
I can't
champions.
throw that at you. I can't throw that at you. It's needlessly confusing. I was only doing it to be a cunt. I have won Le Mans 24-hour in my class.
I was going to say, there are only 4 F1 world champions that have won Le Mans.
4 F1 world champions.
Yeah, it's Hawthorne, The Hills, and I can't remember who the other one is. But I think that's winning Le Mans, not in the class.
To be fair, this says in 1995. I've no idea whether he's actually won it in the Premier class as well. No idea.
Le Mans 1995.
Oh, that's getting on a bit, isn't it?
Just a little.
So what's that, 50?
That's 23 years ago, so we would have been 50...
55.
55 and winning
Yeah.
Le Mans.
Fair play.
Well, aren't they all? Wasn't Alan McNish like fucking 50 when he won it?
No.
Can't be far off it,
No, he was late 30s or
I think he
early
just
40s.
looks a bit raggedy.
does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
Scottish, isn't he?
It's the cold weather, it does it to you.
Yeah.
Did anyone notice that of Alan McNish when they've got heart rate monitors on them now in the pit lane? And at the last Formula E race, it cut to him and his heart rate, because his team was in the lead, was at 121 BPM.
Fucking hell.
To which point, what's his name, Franchitti, turned around and said, "I think he needs to start laying off the red wine."
Good Lord.
120 odd while sat down.
So
I think he might have also said, "Oh well, somebody's not been going to the gym as much."
Yeah.
Secretly one of the I know Formula E's Formula E, but Franchitti is secretly one of the best commentators in the world.
No, we like Formula E now. The cars are going to look cool.
They're all going to look very cool.
So 50-something when he won his
Class in Le Mans,
class in Le Mans.
which I'm guessing was probably a GT.
No idea. Really haven't got a clue.
1990.
We're over now. I think that was your last
Oh, was
clue.
it?
I kind of lost
Is
track.
that the last clue out of the
All of
20,000
the
that you're going to
clues.
give
Well, I've
us?
just realised. No, like
How old's Earnhardt Senior?
I think Jeff's done something
I was
magical
going to say
here.
he was. I think he was in his.
he was in his
arse
50s.
end of the 40s, early 50s
I think it was
when he
51
died.
when he died, which was 14
Which was
years.
2001.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, it was 17 years ago, wasn't it?
I think Jeff's done something magical. I think he's managed to send me a total shunt with never listening to the podcast. Because
No, he does listen. He's interacted on Facebook quite often.
not only has he sent me I mean certainly like clue 3 could definitely be looked at as 3 clues in one.
Really? Do you want to tell us what those 3 clues are?
Nope. So not only that, I've just realised. So, not only is he not happy with not just having one clue as one clue, he's given me 13.
3 spaffers then.
I feel what this
I
is
wouldn't call you
suggesting
that,
here
but-
is that people can send. Given how much obvious checking of this beforehand has gone on, people can now just send you anything and realise it's only going to get found out
Are you
mid-podcast.
Jeff Leopold?
Go on, give us a spaffer clue.
I was named by the Associated Press and Racer Magazine's Driver of the Century in 2000. I didn't even realise there was such an award.
I did not.
I now proclaim myself podcaster of the century.
I want to know who won the previous one.
Some horse master.
Or the horse.
Or the horse, perhaps.
I'm driver of the century. I wonder who's going to win next year.
Driver of the century. Driver of the 20th century, I'm guessing.
It'd be a bit premature for the 21st.
Well, 21st century was when the award was given out.
God. It's guaranteed to be somebody we've heard of.
Well, yeah, it's going to be
Probably.
it's a Formula One world champion. You would
I
assume.
think it's a motor racing driver.
I
helpful.
To be fair, some of the ones we've had, we have had to catch the pigeon before, and
we have.
Mario.
We have.
Yeah.
I think Jack
I'm
Brabham's probably
I'm just
still...
trying to work out why my heart rate's gone up to 121 while I'm sat down.
Lay off the red wine.
You're having a heart attack, Paul.
Ah, that'll be it.
Jack Brabham, I think, is still a fairly decent shout.
Bruce McLaren?
He was dead before 1995.
Maybe his class was hers.
The 24-hour hearse of Le Mans.
I'm going to say, I still think either Jack Brabham or possibly Jackie Stewart.
Jackie Stewart is not a bad shout.
But then Jackie Stewart would have been in Triple Crown, but because he won at Monaco.
Do you want another clue?
He's not
Yes.
Triple Crown.
He's not.
In 1988, I came 6th at the Le Mans 24-hour with my son as a co-driver.
Don't forget, he never actually said anything about winning the Monaco Grand Prix. He didn't say Triple Crown. He said Formula One champion.
Yeah, but Jackie Stewart would be if he won as
If he's won, if he's won 24-hour and Indy 500.
But none of the clues mentioned Monaco, which is the other race of the Triple Crown.
Yeah, but is that not what Chris is saying?
Has won it.
Yeah.
So
Does Jackie Stewart have a son? Oh, of course he has
Yeah.
a son.
Paul Stewart.
Paul Stewart,
Yeah.
as in Paul Stewart Racing.
Yeah, of course he does.
Double-barreled surname.
Yeah.
Stewart Racing.
Yeah. That took you a minute.
What? I was going to say what? Jack Brabham, David Brabham is his son.
David Brabham did race
I think
for
it's
a
Jack
bit.
Brabham.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna lay it out there and say Jack Brabham, and if it's not, then it's not.
If it's not, it's probably going to be Mario Andretti.
It could still
Probably.
be an Andretti because they've all got children.
Or a Fittipaldi.
So which one are we going for? Go with Jack Brabham. We'll go with yours. Then one of us gets smug points.
Yeah, probably you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Mario Andretti.
At least I'm back on foot. We need Sean back. And Sean will be joining us in a few weeks
Sean will be joining us for the pre-season.
for the last show pre-season. Before it'll be the
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for the total shunt.
yes,
Lee
thank you,
sounds
Jeff.
really grateful.
No, it was good. It made me giggle.
But no, Sean Kelly's going to be joining us for the preview of the Australian Grand Prix.
Ace.
Also, kind of a season preview as well.
Kind of a season preview as well, 'cause it's the first preview race before the new season starts. Now then,
Is it after all the testing's all done and dusted?
well, yeah, it will
should
be
be,
because testing.
Well, by the time we do our next pod, we'll have a first day test report.
we will. Yeah, testing finishes March the 9th.
I think Sean's insight into testing will be fucking fascinating.
It will be because he compiles statistics throughout testing.
Yeah, and he understands numbers better than us.
Yes. And what might look good to
So
us,
does the fish.
and what might look good to us and the fans in general, Sean will be able to pick out why it's perhaps not as good as the
Yeah.
media might be portraying.
Well, I would be able to pick out that numbers spell word numbers.
like Alfonso Celis, we all thought he was a fairly decent driver when he was testing that Force India a couple of years ago, and then Sean has basically said he should be nowhere near a racing car.
And then provided the facts as to why. It's like, oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
that all works. Never heard from again. So, for our American listeners who will be getting ESPN coverage of this new season, you're getting the same as what we get over here.
Yes.
You are getting the Sky coverage. Now, apparently, you're going to get all of the 3 practice sessions and qualifying, and it's not going to be in silence. You are going to get to hear people talking during FP1 and FP2.
Yeah.
You'll hear voices on a Friday.
It'll take you a little bit of time to get used to the commentary team, but bear with them. They do know what they're talking about most of the time. I know some of our other listeners are horrified at the amount of bias that some of them can show at times.
Oh yeah, strap yourself in for the fucking Hamilton hour.
Yeah,
Like, deep in.
pretty much.
We all go deep with that world champion.
Yeah, but Hamilton brings viewers, so that's why they go to. They tend to lean towards Lewis.
But it's a unarguable fact that he is the best driver on the Formula One grid.
Of all time.
Possibly much better than Senna. Much better.
Of course, we're joking, but it's impossible.
We all know it's Ralph Schumacher.
Yeah.
Literally the Ralph of Schumachers. That one never gets old.
No. Brother Ralph didn't know he was a pastor, Maldonado. But I don't know what they're going to do about ad breaks. I know that we were talking about maybe not having the ad breaks because we won't get them.
Now, apparently, South Africa's been showing the Sky coverage for a few years.
And still does
so's
the ad
Canada,
breaks.
and they shoehorn ad breaks in there every so often. For that, we're sorry. But at least you've got a live blog to keep you going.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
we'll be doing.
And hopefully you won't have so many ad breaks as you have with previous broadcasters.
Yeah.
Who tended to, as is Sod's law with ad breaks, miss all of the important action.
Yeah.
And you gotta wait to see a replay like 20 minutes after you come back.
Or we're all going to get fucked. There's still going to be adverts in America. So not only are they going to get like just Lewis Hamilton shoved to them every 10 minutes, we're going to get like soft ad breaks in the middle of it. You know, where there's clearly commentary things where it's, oh, and now to the pits or something, where you know America's having an advert, but we're not.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than the ones that we had in Daytona last night, which was, like I say, 3 minutes of silence.
Yeah. Now to Ted in the pits, and Ted just happens to be drinking a lovely, refreshing can of Kubica energy drink.
Mind you, when Formula
There
1 was
was
in America...
nothing lovely and refreshing
No.
about that.
No, but if it's an advert, it will be.
Fucking- Maybe you lose use of one of my arms, that drink. When America had Formula 1 with adverts, did it do the picture-in-picture thing?
Sometimes.
Right, because there's no complaining to be had when they do picture-in-picture. It's a wonderful thing. We don't get it over here.
Germany used to do it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, that was fair enough.
The picture-in-picture in German Formula 1 was Michael Schumacher.
Yeah, but when they went to an ad break, then they switched what was Schumicam to the full
Ah.
world feed.
Good Lord. I just thanked Jeff for the
Total
Total
Shunt.
Shunt thing on Twitter.
And he's just tweeted you now. Are we doing this live?
Yeah, and he's just tweeted me back with I doing my happy dance and a fucking gif of Honey Boo Boo.
Oh
Is
dear.
Honey Boo Boo still
I
a thing?
Fucking take back my thank you.
Tell you what, should we just wipe that bit and you can do a different Total Shunt?
We'll do it again, and this time we'll get it right.
Jesus.
No, we probably still get it wrong. But no, I think the
I
Americans
use
will
Scott
take
Speed.
AJ Voigt.
No, I'm disgusted.
But no, I think the Americans will take to the Sky commentary team. We know you've had David Hobbs, Steve Matchett, and Lee Diffie for quite some time. You'd grown accustomed to them. Think of the change that we had when Murray Walker stepped down after 250 years of commentating on F1.
And keep an eye out for Will Buxton as well. I know you guys got used to him being on your TV screens. He's probably going to pop up with official Formula 1 every now and again.
He is going to reveal what he's doing very soon, apparently, according to his new Twitter.
Well, there you go. And, of course, Virtual Statman, Sean Kelly, close friend of the podcast,
Yep.
is
Who-
still doing Virtual Statman things.
Yeah, for various broadcasters worldwide. And he'll still be appearing on the show from time to time.
Hopefully.
For what my fucking opinion's worth, I have no idea. but
Next.
I personally think that the Sky's commentary team, both Crofty and Anthony Davidson, when he does the testing, and Crofty and Martin Brundle are the two best Formula 1 commentary teams that Formula 1's ever had.
I like Crofty and Brundle and it's good when you get Paul di Resta on the SkyPad looking out for. Do you remember, was it Verstappen who retired in Bahrain with brake failure? And before they'd even shown the replay, di Resta was on to Crofty saying brake failure. His brakes failed. You don't get that kind of insight from somebody who's not been so close to the sport, but he's got an eagle eye for detail.
Yeah.
Paul
Well,
di Resta.
he's only just not only just stopped racing in Formula 1, but he's still like a modern Formula 1 driver to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah.
And he's heavily involved in modern Formula 1 because he's a test driver. So, it's great.
Yeah. One thing to look out for with Crofty doing the commentary, there will be at least one Metallica reference per race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He always does that. I've got no complaints.
Not a huge Metallica fan, but
It washes over me.
I could take him or leave him, to be honest with you. But Crofty he'll throw an in joke in there every now and again.
Yeah.
We suspect he might be a listener.
I think
he's a master of pundits.
Oh. So when the season rolls around again, we will be putting things out to
just to see
Test
if
the
anything
water again.
see if anything gets mentioned. The secret cough.
Quietly, I'm fucking over the moon with that pun. Over the fucking moon with it.
Quietly.
You've just said you're quietly over the moon with something to about 30,000 people.
I know, yeah. On a quiet week.
Yeah, if it was during the season, double that one. Right, Formula Lee. Shortest race of ever that we've done.
Yeah. It was good though. I quite enjoyed this one.
Still
There's
run
still-
for another week.
There's still another week to go, which is just as well because when
is there?
Yeah, when we actually started doing this podcast tonight, there was only 15 entries.
Right.
And guess who's
Because they didn't but rain.
Exactly.
People want the rain. They think they don't want the rain, but they really want the rain.
right? Send as many as possible in next week if we can beat.
Don't
40,
you worry,
if
rain.
if we can beat 46, then that means the
Fucking-
last race of the season isn't going to be a wet one.
Rain confirmed for last race. I'm going to seed the clouds.
We've got what, 15 entries?
We've got 15 entries. Guess who's in 15th place?
Me.
Yes.
Yes.
Normally at this point, I'd say what time you need to get into the top 20, but you need 48.6.
Wait, how can I be last? How can I be? I'm not last on my PlayStation thing.
That's because I hadn't checked it today.
Oh, okay, that'd be why then.
So you need 48.697 to beat Chris.
Oh, I beat that, I think.
That was the last time I had for you when
Yeah.
I last checked.
You beat Chris.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, beat myself.
And the leading time at the moment, I'm not going
Furiously.
to say who, but it's 46.161.
Wow.
That's the fastest time that I've seen last.
So far.
I need to have a go. I can't turn my computer on at the minute without playing UFC 3. It's fucking ace.
So, yeah, it's the short Silverstone track in the 2010 Red Bull RB6 in the dry.
Anybody else think they should probably do this as an actual circuit at some point during the revisit Silverstone?
But isn't it like 40 seconds?
Yeah. It'd be an amazing race.
It'd have a lap count like IndyCar.
If they ever do the sprint race thing in Formula One, I'm fully up for short circuit sprint race, full circuit feature race.
That would work really well.
Yeah.
I like the idea of reversing the circuits for that.
I don't think they can with the way that the barriers are often set
Yeah,
up.
they just have to fix it.
Just fix it. It's fine. Move all the runoff
I
areas.
think it takes more to fix Formula One than you saying I've just fixed Formula One in this instance.
But we know that's not true.
Yeah, but they'd have to relay the left-handed and right-handed tarmac in between races. It takes time to dry.
Sorry, common sense prevails.
Of course, it always does. Shorter than normal show tonight, but that's all we've had time to talk about, really,
Need to go and prep ourselves for our
for our road trip.
road trip.
You've got your toothbrush already packed?
It's in the bag. He's ready.
Yeah. What's he called?
I've forgotten. I think it was Nigel, wasn't it?
I think you said it was Nigel.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that by the time you guys are sharing stuff on social media, the 2018 Mercedes car will have been launched, and we'll be looking at it and go, "That looks interesting. That looks interesting. Whoa, what have they done with that bit there?" As we have with all the cars so far. If any of the listeners can come up with some questions that they think they want Paul or Lee to ask, fire them over. Might not get asked because the obvious ones are, how much of this car is the same as the old one, and how much faster is this car than the old one? Don't ask them stuff like that. Think of a really unique question, not too silly, because you never know. In the pit when they're passing around the microphone, Lee or Paul might get a chance to ask 3 or 4 questions.
If your question has Halo in the words, then just rip it up and start again. We're past Halo.
What was Beyonce's best song?
It wasn't Halo, to be
There
fair.
we go then.
no,
You
it's
say
only 4
Halo.
chords.
I say goodbye.
But yeah, if there's anything you want to get to us,
Say goodbye.
try and get it in before Thursday morning, so we get a chance to see it before we go to the press conference. Sean, you've got some advice for us for the press conference, haven't you? About where to sit.
Yes, I did tell you not to sit together, just in case one of you makes a tit of yourself. Then the other one doesn't get tarred with the same brush.
Paul.
Unfortunately, Mercedes already know who you are.
Mercedes do, but the people with the microphones might not.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Go and sit next to Craig Slater.
No, you'd need a referee.
So when he asks a stupid question, just turn around and just be like,
Yeah, you can sit and tut disapprovingly.
Excuse me, Craig. Can I speak to the person that hired you?
I was going to turn up wearing a 3 Legs 4 Wheels t-shirt. If Lee sits next to Craig Slater,
Don't.
I'm going to have to change it to something with black and white stripes on it, just to referee between the pair of them. We'll be back next week
Assuming no one's been arrested for glassing people.
Of course, if any of this does happen, the Patreon has now become my bail fund. So if you could please give generously.
If anyone listening is a lawyer,
And again, I just want to say thanks to all of the Patreons for becoming Patreons and getting that extra show every week for as little as $1 a month. Sorry.
Yeah. In fact, I would like to thank the new Patreons personally.
Oh, please do, Paul.
And they are. I do have a list of them here. I was that prepared that I've just clicked on the wrong link. I would like to. Well, we would all like to thank Evan, Lee, William.
I'm not a Patreon.
A different Lee.
Okay.
Dan and Ben.
I wouldn't pay for this.
But if you're a patron, you're not paying for this. You are paying for the extra podcast that we do.
I'd have paid for that. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear us talk about, there was a couple of F1 bits in there. There's some behind the scenes stuff about our trip to Mercedes last week.
But this is the thing. See, all of these donations that people are bringing through, I mean, they help us to produce the content that we've been producing in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
The Lando Norris interview, the George Russell interview from last week.
Everything that we're going to do at Silverstone on Thursday.
Absolutely. All the things you're going to get to see on our Facebook page and all that, it's all thanks to you guys. We want to produce the best and as much of it as we possibly can. So we really, really can't thank you enough.
So if you want to sign up to help us out, it's from as little as $1 a month, and you can go to patreon.com/3legs4wheels, and you can make your pledge there. For that, you'll get an extra show and the odd extra bit of news and
Yeah, as I say,
info, and more special prizes to be arranged.
2 hours of show per month.
Yeah, at least half an hour a week.
Yeah.
It's we save our worst jokes for that show.
Yeah.
And worst stories, mostly.
Yeah, all the times when we should probably have been arrested but didn't get.
There have been some of those, I think.
Yeah. And if you want to get in touch with us in general, then drop us an email, 3legs4wheels@gmail.com, or tweet us at 3legs4wheels, or you can get us on.
At Flood21.
at Sean Cowper.
And at a total shunt.
And I'm at Pablo100, and you can get Dan at
Underscore.
At _ Danbert _.
Yes.
I'm going to have to get him coached when he's back next week, assuming he makes it back into the country.
Well, is he back in the country already?
Which country?
Oh, good point.
Secret Agent Dan is on a secret mission somewhere secret. Have a look for us on Facebook. You can get in touch with us on there. Just go to facebook.com/3legs4wheels. We're on Instagram.
Yeah.
And,
And that's where you're going to see most of the
that's where we're going to be putting
most of
some
the launch stuff.
Yeah.
So don't miss out on that. Come to the Facebook page, give it a like, and keep your eyes peeled on that.
Yeah, and we've also signed up to Drive Tribe as well.
I need to join that.
Look for 3legs4wheels. You'll see me as the tribe leader. I've never been a tribe leader before. That sounds really interesting. I'm going to have to break out the war
It
paint.
sounds more outdoorsy than you usually go for, being a tribe leader.
It sounds more outdoorsy than you would ever do.
Putting the bins out is more outdoorsy than I normally do.
Thing is, that's true.
But you know what? Right, this was awful. Like genuinely, like I'd have done anything last night if it were to get out of this. I woke up at 2:30 this morning and realised I hadn't put the bin out.
Bet your neighbours loved
Worst
that.
ever.
I don't fucking care about the neighbours. I had to get up.
No, the worst one is waking up at 2:30, realising that the night before bin day, being woken up at 2:30, realising that somebody else, because we live in a converted house into 4 apartments, realising that somebody else has put the bins out, but it's bloody windy and they've not shut the bin cupboard gate. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
going
no, to be
bang,
fair,
bang,
there are a
bang,
few
bang,
twats
bang.
for that in our building.
Yeah, 3 of them at least. The ones that don't live in our flat. We're always very diligent gate lockers.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's just a freaking slidey bolt. It's not rocket science, but hey ho.
That's why there's 3 brain surgeons above us,
Formula
obviously.
One, people.
Anyway, rant over. Well, that's the kind of thing you get to hear on Patreon, but a lot funnier as well. We'll be back next week with all the stuff on the Mercedes launch, what we get to see of the Ferrari launch on TV.
Yeah, any audio you manage to pick up from the press conferences as well that might not be broadcasted on other media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll try and find anyone with any vague connection to Mercedes and pin them down and get them to say hello.
Yeah. Also, this week is another must-see audio week. So that'll be up and ready to download by Saturday or Sunday.
So you're getting back on Friday and then you're going straight to recording that.
Yeah.
Don't go through the airport duty-free shop and buy something. I hope the salesman from Birmingham doesn't have a counterpart in Manchester. Actually, I've had an idea. I won't go near the whiskey shop.
Ta-da!
If you want to know why, listen to the Patreon show. We'll see you next week.
We will indeed.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.